Morning, guys. Fine. So last day we have been talked about how exactly the page executes to you on a server, and I explained about the page lifecycle events. So 10 events what we have been demonstrated to you. What are the 10? Init complete, preload, load complete, pre-render complete, and save state complete, and finally we have unload. So we've just been checked up what happens to you under each and every of this particular events. Okay, so like how the appropriate events are just going to fire. That's what we've just been checked up in the last class, and what code has to be implemented under each and every event. Okay. So finally, I also demonstrated you about one more important thing called auto event wire up property. Auto event wire up property. Okay, that is where we stopped the gap. The default value for this auto event wire up is also true. So even if I don't use it here, by default the code executes. I don't require to use it because the default value is true. Yeah. So the auto event wire up is what has just been demonstrated here, the auto event wire up. So if you see, the default value right now for this auto event wire up is going to be true only. The default value for the auto event wire up is true. Means even if I don't mention anything, there, what you say is true. Is it clear or not? Understood my point? Things I shown you yesterday. Fine. Init complete, preload, load, control events, render method, all. Of the actions that takes place for you in the first and the postback request. In the first request, what will happen first? Initializing, loading, pre-rendering, saving, rendering, disposing. Initializing, controls are initial, loading, all the loading process will happen. Pre-render, saving, rendering, disposing. What is saving? Saving state actually. Saving is nothing but saving the state of the value. Okay? And when you come to the pushback now, what will happen first? Initializing. See here, initializing is same here also. Here, loading. Here, loading the view state. Afterwards, loading. In the first time, loading view state won't be there. Why? First time view state values won't be there. View state values will come into action only from the next request. So here directly go to loading. Before loading, we have loading view state. Next, we have one more thing. Loading postback data. Loading the postback data also will be present. On the other side here, we don't have loading view state, loading postback data won't be there. Why? First record doesn't have view state, first record doesn't have postback. Next, pre-rendering. Here also pre-rendering. Next, actually I said we are saving state, guys. Saving state of the values. Next, rendering. Here also, disposing, unload. So what is new? Loading view state and loading postback data will be extra things what you'll be finding up there. Okay, these are the extra things what you'll be finding. Loading the view state values and loading the postback data will be the extra things what happens to you there. Otherwise, both are going to be one and the same only. Yeah. Okay. So this is all about the life cycle of a page and how exactly the execution takes place for you on the server. The each stage of the life cycle, what I have just demonstrated for you. Each stage of the life cycle, what I just been demonstrating. Any doubts? Where we stopped off in the middle. Yeah, that's we saw that. In each and every stage, page request. First thing is page request will come, and afterwards all the things will happen: start, initialize, load, event handling, unload. Then we have all the 10 page events. Then demonstrated about each and every page event. What are page events? Pre-init, init complete, preload, load, control events, load complete, pre-render complete, save state complete, and then we have render, okay, then we have render, unload. Event wire up attribute also, the auto event wire up. So if you remember, if your binding is not done, where you're required to do? You're required to do it in the constructor. This is a constructor. What are control? What are page name? Page events. So under the constructor, we need to write all the code. Everything I explained of in the last session, only thing is I did not sum up the things, that's it. Fine. Next. The next topic what we're going to talk is tracing. What is tracing? Tracing, I already said you last class also I shown you about the tracing. Actually, what is the advantage or what is the use of this tracing is, tracing tomorrow in the real time, it is basically used for identifying some critical errors. Identifying some critical errors in a sense. Suppose guys, in an application, a page is loading. The page basically is taking more than the expected time. The page is actually taking more than the expected time. So it is just loading very slow, and the client complained. The client came out with a complaint. What is the complaint? The page is loading very slow. We don't understand what is the problem. So how to identify the loading of the page is going to be very slow. How to identify this particular problem? If at all you want to identify this particular problem now, what you do? You will be enabling the trace. Once you enable the trace, day before yesterday I showed you, see how much time each event was taking, it will show you. You can identify now which event is taking the more time. Then you can start debugging that particular event, what is the mistake in that. First you should know now where is the problem. Without knowing where is the problem, you cannot fix it. So the first thing what you just do, you need to identify which place the problem is there. Then we on the trace now. Once we on the trace, it will show you the time taken for each and every method to run. So which method is taking more time? Pick that particular method and put your breakpoint there and start the debugging process. So you go to a doctor. On some problem. When you go to your doctor on some problem, what will the doctor say? The doctor says, go for a diagnostic report now. Yes or not? The doctor says, go for a diagnosis. You're just required to go for diagnosis now. Am I right? You just go for some test. He's going to write some tests now. So you go to now, you complete all the tests. After completing all these particular tests now, what will happen? A report comes. After completing all the tests, the report comes. What is it? A diagnosis report. We call it as a diagnosis report. Based on that report, the doctor will say you what is the problem. So here also It is exactly same thing, guys. We will be performing a trace, and by using the trace, we'll identify what exactly is the problem. And after identifying what exactly is the problem, we try to write the code for fixing that particular problems now. Understood, all of you? So how to enable the trace now? If at all you wanted to enable the trace, trace can be enabled in two ways. If at all you wanted to enable the trace, trace can be enabled in two ways. There are two different options that are available to enable the trace. What is the first option? Page level. Page level tracing. The first option is page level tracing. What is page level tracing? We've done it already. On the top of the page, on the top of your particular page, go and write that. What? Trace is equals to true. But the page directive, in the page directive, we add that attribute. What? Trace is equals to true. Once you add that particular option, trace is equals to true, immediately what will happen? Tracing gets enabled. Are you clear? Immediately what is going to happen? Tracing gets enabled for you. It is will enable the trace for you. So how to do that? How are you going to do that? On the top of your page, you write what? Trace, anywhere you write, no problem. Trace equals to, I already demonstrated this to you. Okay. So once you say trace is equals to true, once you're going to write there trace is equals to true, automatically tracing gets enabled. So this is called as page level enabling a trace. This is called as page level enabling a trace. Okay, but this is specific to the current page only. This is specific to the current page. That's all, not for other pages. Yeah. Is specific to the current page only, not for other pages. Now, I already set this attribute. Now, trace equal to true. Now, run. Where you see the trace data? We see the trace data on the bottom. After our output in the bottom, it will show you the trace information. And below that, you saw all the trace data. It will show you the request details. It will show you the trace information, like how much time taken by each event to run. Next, what controls are present on your page. Next, session state, application. I did not still explain about all these things. Header collections. Next, I explained you about query string collection. Next, we have all this. We can see. From here, we can find out some information, and we can just use that information in our applications now. This is page level. Second option, when you enable page level tracing, that's only for that page. When you enable page level tracing, that is only for that particular page. It will not work for other pages. But I want tracing to be enabled for all the pages. I want tracing to be enabled for all the pages. For all the pages, I want tracing to be enabled. So if you want to enable tracing for all the pages, guys, we have a concept like application level tracing. We have a concept like application level tracing. Means we are going to perform tracing on the application level. So that's called as application level tracing. Okay. So how to do application level tracing? If at all you wanted to perform any application level tracing, here, what will you do? What will I do? We just go for writing that code. We write that code under this file. Which file? Web.config. Anything application level is in web.config. Anything you want to do application level should be done under web.config. Now also, if you want to enable tracing application level, you're required to put that information in web.config file only. Okay, now, if you wanted to enable the tracing application level, you're required to put that information in the web.config file. Within the web.config file only, application level tracing will be enabled. So now the same thing only we should do. We should just go for using the web.config file for application level tracing. How to do? Simple. Watch. I am removing here. Go to web.config. And now, here we just have a tag called trace enabled equal to true. That's what you should write. Where you need to write under configuration tag. You require to write under configuration tag. Within the configuration tag, within the system.web tag here, anywhere no problem. You write it after pages or before pages, no problem. Anywhere you can write it. But should be under system.web. That's all. Anywhere within system.web you add this. I add on the top there. Or otherwise, you know pages now. We learned about pages. We added the pages already. So now below that I added you trace. Added you this particular attribute called trace equals to true. Okay. And this is application level tracing what we just gone for. So when you enable the application level tracing, guys, the trace will work for one page or all pages? All pages in the site. All pages in the site will be having trace now. Any page you run, tracing will come. Watch guys, I'm opening login page dot ASPX. Sir, tracing did not come. I am not able to see that. You won't see this, guys. When you go for application level tracing, by default, the trace data will not be shown in the bottom. Then where it shows, it will be showing you this trace data under a separate window called as a trace viewer. Under a separate window called trace viewer. How to get the trace viewer? What's the URL in your browser, guys? What's the URL? Open a new tab. Paste it there. Copy the URL. Paste that URL here. Okay now. And simply change the page name here. What you should write, you know? This will open you the trace viewer and will show you the trace data. Will open you the trace viewer and shows you the trace data. Till now, 2 requests went. First request, you know, first request I sent without any page name. Array, first we got 40 through forbidden error. Something. First request came without sending any page name. See there. Afterwards you entered the page name. Till now 2 requests went like this. Okay. Now observe. I'm sending a new request, guys. For what? Page events. 3 requests. Come back here. Refresh. It will show you. Okay, how to see the data, sir? To see the data, click on the view details button. Now it will show you the trace data. Same style it will show you, guys. Same style only it will show you. But only difference is you will not be getting directly in the bottom of the page. You will be getting separate. Are you clear? This is the trace data of this page. This is the trace data of this page. First time you did not send any request to any page. That's why it's not showing you any values. What it's showing is only who sent the request. That's all. No page names, nothing is there. Like this, it will start recording the trace data of every page or every request you send. All the things gets recorded. How many it will record, sir? It will keep on recording like this until it reaches 10. It keeps on recording like this until it reaches 10. What is that? Look. Again, I'll click on the button. One more request sent to server, right? Recorded. First request is get request. Post request. Which page? Page events one. Again, submit. submit. 3 times I clicked. Okay now, till now how many copies are there? 7. 1, 2, 3. 10. Okay, again 1 more time I clicked. But see now, no copies are there. 10 copies it will record like this. How many? 10. So if you want more, you can set the size. Default is 10. Default is 10. Have you noticed that here showing you here? First time if you remember that showing you 10, 9, showing you the count there. It will show you the count, remaining 0. All 10 are, no, I want new things. You can get it. We need to set some attributes. I'll tell you how to set it. But did you understand in application level tracing how it works? It makes the copies and stores for you like this. It won't show you in the bottom of the page. It will show you in a separate window called Trace Viewer. In the Trace Viewer, we can see the trace data. Watch this. Actually, this trace has some attributes here. This trace adds some attributes here. What is the first attribute? Enable true. Second attribute is page output is equals to true. Default is false, guys. Page output true. Default is false. What is page output true? Watch here. Earlier, it did not show you the output in the bottom of the page now. Now it will show. Why earlier it did not show? Because earlier page output is false and now I set it true. So what about trace viewer? That is also present. Array, this will show you only current. That will show you last 10. This will show you only 1 only, but that will show you 10. Okay? You can just open it. Basically, without copying and pasting and all, right click on this tab here. Go for duplicate tab. Duplicate tab will come. There just a type trace dot ext. See, first request get. Remaining 9. Come back here. Click on the button. Are you clear? So this has only 1, but this has multiple. And if you feel seeing both 2 times, why both 2 times? Then what do you do? Leave it false. I am telling you option is there. I am showing you the appropriate option to you. Next. The next attribute is request limit. The default request limit is 10, guys. I'm making now 5 copies only will be there. Only 5 copies are maintained now. Okay. I'm making this false here. Same story, right click, duplicate. Trace.ext. How many? 1 copy, still 4. Why? I set up the limit now. Tell me one thing here. I clicked on this button for 4 times. 4 times means all the 4 are over now. When is the first copy created? 2113. Last copy? 2145. Now when I come here and submit, is it going to create me a new copy? Over now, limit is over, it won't. Okay? Either increase the limit or otherwise, another way you can do it. Another thing you can do is most recent is equals to true. What it will do, you know? Whenever a new copy comes, old copies are deleted. When new copy comes, one old copy deleted. Model file only. But new copies will come, old will be deleted. That is what most recent is equals to true. Default is false. And for output size, for the output size request limit, default is 10. I change it to 20, sorry, 5. Yeah, 1 here. You see now 2, 3, 4, 5. All the 5 copies created. First copy 2249. Last copy 2308. Okay. Click on this button and you see now what happened. One old copy deleted and see 2308 is there. After that, new copy came. Next, this will be deleted off. 6 will be deleted off now. Okay, now, so that is called most recent is equals to. Most recent means that. Next. Local only. Local only. Basically, what is local only means? The local only attribute having a default value true, guys, I'm changing to default is true, I'm changing to false. What is this? Actually, who wants to see the trace data? Developer, end user? Developer, end user? What will end user do with the trace data, guys? Let's not understand. We don't want to disclose that also. It should be only shown to the developer, not to the end user. So point here is, by default, this local only attribute is there, that is true. What is that? It will show only to the machine. It will show only to the machine where the server is present. Our server client both are same now. Correct or not? So when I try from the server machine only, that will come. But when I try from a client machine, that won't show the output. When I show from the client machine, that is not going to show the output. When I say local only false, you can see from the server machine, you can see from the client machine also. Are you clear? But what is the user? Why you want to show to the client? No, I don't want to show the client. Suddenly, there's a problem. I was out of the office. I was out of the office. I'm not in reach of the office now. Some problem came. I am the developer. Some problem came. Admin called me. Admin called me and said there is some problem urgently coming on the site. So I'm not there to verify what is the problem now. So in such scenarios, he can open the web.config and he simply sets the local only is equals to false. Immediately I can sit at my home, open the browser and I'll see that trace data now. Once that is fixed, again they'll change up to true. Are you clear? So for that purpose, they just given that particular attribute value trace is local only is equals to false. What is the default value? Default values true only. We are changing to false. Right, now I changed all the values to the new values and shown. What is the default value for enable? False. I made true. What is the default value for page output? False. I want to make it true. What is the default request limit? 10. I want to make it 20. What is the most recent default value? False. I made it true. Local only. Default is true. I made it false. Is it clear? So one by one attribute, I was just changing up there and I shown you how that works. You can see attributes of trace element in web.config. The first attribute is enabled. Is the first attribute what we just have. Enabled attribute. Yeah, the first attribute is enabled. Second, the second attribute is page output. The second attribute is going to be page output. Third, third one, request limit. Four, most recent. 5, local only. Are you clear with all the 5 attributes? Okay, so this is application level tracing. So generally, why do we use this tracing means to fix the critical errors in the program. So it will give you a diagnostic information of all the things. Regularly, we'll be monitoring this trace data to find out any problems are there in the application so that I can fix them. So that is the idea behind tracing and why tracing was available for us in applications. Guys, right now, in trace, it was writing some data to us. In trace, it was writing some data to us. You too can write. What do you mean by that? Yes, guys, you too can write some data into that files. You too can write some data into the trace now. What data can I write? Anything of your choice. Anything of your choice, you can write up into the trace. How to write? There are 2 methods available, trace.one, trace.write. We have 8 intrinsic objects now, request, response, server. Till now we talked on these 3. Request object, response object, server.map path. We've shown you a number of times. The 4th intrinsic object is trace. Still we have 4 more intrinsic objects, session, applications, like this we'll talk about them. The 4th intrinsic object is trace. So in that, we are provided with a method called write. This or otherwise one. These are the 2 methods that are available for you, using which we can just write into the trace. Using which we can write into the trace. But what is the use, sir? What is the use? Nothing here. System is adding some messages. Sometimes you too require to add some messages there. Some error coming there. You want to trace out where exactly some error is coming. You want to display some error message on the screen. So there what we do, I'll write into the trace now. So I can see the trace data to identify the error messages. So option is there. We too can write. How to write? There are 2 methods if at all you want to write into a trace. One is trace.write method. Second one is trace.one method. What is the difference? The difference is, watch, I'm using both the 2. Trace.write, trace.one. Both the 2 I'm using. Yeah, now we don't have trace data, guys. Where did I write button click? Now click on the button. It writes the data into the trace. It writes the data into the trace now. What is the difference between write and warn methods is, write method will write your output in black color, warn will write in red color, except that there's nothing difference. You want to highlight your messages, we can just use the warn method and so get the output in the red color. Error messages are there. I want to write the error messages in the trace. I got some error here. I'm using try catch, caught an error. After that, I want to write that into trace. I can just say trace dot one. So that tomorrow when you open the trace, it will show you in the red color. All the red color messages will be your error messages. And you can write like this by calling the method called write method or the warn method. There is nothing difference between write and warn except the color variation. Otherwise, both are same. Are you clear? Okay. So where do we use a trace means? I am not going to explain that right now because I already said you why to use a trace. One day to identify form collection, query string collections and all. I show you the trace to you. Are you clear? When I explained about the form collection, query string collections and all, I already shown you the trace. So tomorrow you wanted to see some values, we will immediately enable the trace. So later on in some examples also, I will show you using trace, why to use the trace. Just today I want to only show you how to go for page level and application level. I am not explaining why we use tracing to you because already I demonstrated you what is the advantage with the tracing and how we can see the data of the trace data like request collection, response collections and all. Till we are going to discuss about cookies, sessions, all those information will be visible for you under the trace. Okay, so this is all about tracing and why do we use the tracing in our applications. The next concept is exception handling. How do you handle exceptions in your application? How do you handle exceptions in your applications? So it's a very, very important thing like how exceptions are handled in the applications now. Okay, guys, all of you know how to handle an exception now? When you put bank basis here, you learned exception handling in C#, na? How do you handle? By putting your code in try catch block. You handle an exception by putting the code in a try catch block. We write a try catch block, and by using the try catch block, we will be handling the exceptions. Correct? So try and catch. What do you write in the try? Statements which are going to cause error. What you write in the catch? Statements which should execute when the error occurs. Finally is also there. Any statement should execute at any cost. We write them in the finally. So try contains statements which are going to cause you the error. Second thing, statements which should not execute when the error occurred. Statements which are going to cause the error and statements which should not execute when the error occurred. Second, catch. What do you write in the catch? Statement that should execute only when there is an error. Third one is finally. Any statement should execute for you at any cost. We write the code in the finally. These are the three blocks what we just have. So now, how do we handle exceptions in our applications? I'm developing one application. In my application, there is a chance of getting some exception. How do I handle those exceptions? Is that clear? Well, we'll try to understand about exception handling in web application or ASP.NET. Exception handling in ASP.NET. You can handle exceptions in an ASP.NET application in three different ways. One, block level exception handling. Two, page level exception handling. Three, application level exception handling. First one, block level. Second one, page level. Third one, application level. So what is the difference between all the three? I'll show you. First, to demonstrate, I want to create a page like this. How many? 4 rows, 2 columns. The 4 rows and 2 columns. Let's create. The name I am giving is exception handling dot ASPX. I am removing this trace here, or otherwise simply make false. Otherwise it will start recording all that I have, waste of time. Now just I made false. What is the page name? exception handling dot ASPX. Now let me add a web form now. Go to design view. Table, insert table. How many rows? 4 rows, 2 columns. Now just for the first one, enter first number, enter second number, result obtained, and here let's add some text boxes. Now merge these two cells. Add 2 buttons. Table. What is that? Just a simple thing like a division calculator, something. A simple I'll say calculator. So first one, txt num1, txt num2, txt result, btn divide, btn reset. ln equals to center. Yeah, looks good. So my form is ready. Okay. Now, in this page, I created a page now. In this page, there is a chance of getting an exception. There is a chance of getting an exception when you try to divide a number by 0, right or not? When you try to divide a number by 0, there is a chance of getting a exception now. Yeah, exception will come for sure. Exception will come for sure when the divisor value is going to be 0. What exception? Divide by 0 exception. Divide by 0 exception will occur for you. Okay. Now I wanted to handle that. Maybe not only divide by 0, guys. There is a chance of getting a format exception there. There is a chance of getting a format exception there. There is a chance of getting an overflow exception there. All these exceptions can occur for you within the code. So now what we want an option for handling all these type of exceptions that occur in the code. And I want to do that by using the concept of the exception handling. And to handle this, how many types of options are there? I said you, 3 options are there. The first option is page level. Sorry, block level. I'm sorry, block level. Second option, page level. How do you do block level? For block level, I don't require to explain you. The block level exception handling is done by using try-catch blocks only. The block level exception handling is done by using try-catch blocks. We just use the try-catch block and handle the exceptions block level. Second option, page level. Third option, application level. So if you have any confusions, your confusion will be only on how to handle page level and application level, but not block level. Block level exception handling, you already know and you can do it. Watch it, guys. Let me go to the click of the divide button. First, if not is post back txt num1 dot focus int num1 is equals to txt num1 dot text in dot parse result is equals to divide by num2 a simple code. I'm just going to read the 2 numbers, dividing them, and finally displaying the result in the result text box. Run. $100, 5. Got it. Nothing issue. Now I don't write the logic for reset here, I forgot. Now, but problem is, suppose tomorrow if you give 0 here and click on the divide button, click on the divide button. What happens? Exception arises. Exception arised and showing you like what happened. Attempted to divide by 0, divided by 0, exception. Or otherwise, if at all I'm trying to give a wrong value like a character there, exception occurs. Format exception. Okay, or otherwise, now also exception occurs. What exception? Overflow exception. All these things are shown in your C# classes. I'll not tell you anything new to you. So exceptions are occurring and we are able to see what exceptions just got occurred for you in the code. Okay, all the different types of exceptions that are happening up here. Fine, well and good. Now, look at this, all of you. Okay, look at this now. There is a problem that is happening here. What is that exception coming? So, what is the problem with an exception, you know? What is the problem with an exception, you know? The problem with an exception is, whenever an exception occurs, abnormal termination will happen. You already learned it. You want to skip it. You want to skip it. That's not the main thing here. In web application, the main problem is, whenever an exception occurs, it will show you an yellow screen like this. It will show you an yellow screen like this. And on the yellow screens, it will show you the source code also. There's a big problem now here. 5 lines of code, 2 lines above the error, 2 lines below the error will be visible to user now. But tomorrow you write some complex coding there, some user IDs, passwords or something you are using. If it shows the output like this now, end user will come to know what is the user passwords now. Did you understand the danger now? Yes or not? End user will come to know what is the password, the values are visible. I want to write some logic now. I don't want my logic to be visible to anyone now. So I want to hide it. But now the users can cause the errors now and they can see what logic it is. It's a simple code today. But tomorrow you can write some complex code. All the code will be visible to users now. And that too, showing the screens like this is not good. It's not good. That yellow screen should not be visible or shown to users. That yellow screen should not be shown to the appropriate user. It's not good for many reasons. So to overcome this particular problem, guys, what do we have? We are just going to use the concept of exception handling. By using the concept of exception handling, we can control this. So first option is block level. You know that I don't require to give you an explanation. How do you write the code? Write here, try. Write here, catch. Exception EX. Main point here, I don't want to show that yellow screen at all. I don't want to show that yellow screen at all. Don't want to show. Don't want to show? No. What do you want to do? I wanted to display a new page with error details there, that's all. I want to display a new page only with the error details. What is a new page? In the project, I am adding one new page. I will name this as error page. I will name this as error page. I am named this as error page. Error page is the name of this particular page. Okay now? Great. Now, in this, I am going to write some HTML code that has to be visible to users. Some HTML code that has to be visible to user actually. I'm writing style, background color, something, error page. Okay? And the next one I want to show you now. There is an error in the application and the details of the error are. There is an error, guys, and I want to show the details of that particular error. What is that? To show the details of the error, I'm adding a label control there. All of you watch, I'm adding a label control. For color, red. That has to show the error message. That has to show the error message. That's a simple HTML code I've written there just to design the error page. I just don't have anything there, just a simple HTML code. And that too, that is to design your error page, I just created now. So whenever an error occurs, what should happen? The control should jump to that page. Whenever an error occurs, what should happen? The control should jump to that particular page. And after jumping to that page has to show, the error details to the user. Okay, don't show the logic to the user. Take to that page and show the error details to the user. This is what exactly the requirement is. What is the name of the page? Error page. And in the error page, error details should be shown. But where error came in some page. But details should be shown in some page. How do you do that? Watch. What I'm writing here, first step. Catch the exception. Yeah, we caught it. There we caught the exception. The exception is caught. Once it is caught, response dot, which page? Okay. For this one, what I'm doing, I'm using a question mark. What is that? Query string. I'm using query string there. Message is equals to, and I'm just going to pass ex dot, the error message I'm sending there now. Error came here, but should be shown some other one now. I'm going to pass it. Where the error message goes? The error message goes to this page as a query string. Now tell me, in the error page, can I read the query string value? In the error page, can I read the query string value or not? See, string message is equals to request dot. Query string of, what is the name? Message. Once after reading that, you place the label to show the message now. LTL message dot text is equals to message. That message should be visible here now. Okay? Now see, run the page. Which page? Exception handling page. Exception handling page. Run. Earlier it shown you what? Earlier when the error came, it shown you what? Yellow screen. Earlier when the error came, it shown you what? Yellow screen. Now see 100 and 0. Click on the divide. You won't get the yellow screen. See now, you got this. See now, that error message is passed there now. Attempted to divide by 0. For an int 32. It's a too large or too small for an int 32. So showing you the error messages like this now. So in a separate page. So without showing the yellow screen, we are able to hide it or not. This is the simplest and the easiest way how you can handle an exception. What we call clock level exception handling. And how do we do? By using our regular try catch only. Okay now? Now how many buttons you have on your screen, guys? 2 buttons. One button is divide button, and second button reset button. Yeah. Now, suppose there is another button also, add button. Is there any chance of getting errors in the add button? Yeah, even you place add button, error will come. Only thing is divide by 0 will not come. Format exception can come, overflow exception can come. I place the multiply button, there also. Subtract button, there also. Mod button, there also. So chances of getting exceptions in multiple places are not. Suppose I had 4 more buttons on the screen for add, subtract, multiply and mod. So in all these 4, do I require to add my extra try catch blocks or not? Tell me. Why sir? Because you added this try catch block for this method, that will work for that method only. So tomorrow, if there is one more button there, look now. Mod, BTN mod. To find out the modulus of a button. To find out the modulus of a button. On click is equals to BTN mod underscore click. Now come here. What do you wanted to do? Array, what I want to do here, guys? I just wanted to find out the modulus of the two number. That's it. So what do you write? Percentile, that's all. It's a modulus now. Now run. $100. I'm just giving 7. 7. Click on modulus. 7 13s. 7 13s, 98. 2 is the remainder. Okay, so we just got it. 8 I'm giving. 8 12s are 96 and 4 is the remainder. We're getting it. But here also, if I give y, error came now also error is coming. And if at all I'm just trying to give some wrong value, a bigger value like this, error coming. So, but you controlled it now. I controlled in multiply button, sorry, divide button, not in modulus button. I did not write any code to control it in the modulus button. I have done the code only to control it in the divide button, not in modulus button. So in modulus button, the error is not handled now. In modulus button, the error is not handled now. So what should I do? Again, I should write a try catch or not? Again, you add add button, again try catch. Subtract button, again try catch. Multiply button, again try catch. How many try catches will I write like this now? Yes or not? To resolve this particular problem, we have a concept called as page level exception handling. What is the page level exception handling? Without writing the try catch in every block. Watch it, guys. I'm deleting. I deleted. There's no try catch now. There is no try catch in both the two methods. Watch. Yes or not? There is no try catch present in both the two methods. So because there is no try catch in both the two methods, in both these two places, there is a chance of getting a error. There is a chance of getting an error. Okay, exception can occur for you in both the two cases. Exception can occur for you in both the two cases. Are you following me or not? Okay, in both the two cases, there is a chance of getting a exception now. So two try-catch blocks. So like this multiple try-catch blocks without adding, we have a method called, this is the 11th method of your page. 11th event of your page. Yesterday I said you 10. 11th one is page underscore error. What is this? This method will not execute like your 10 events what I showed yesterday. Those 10 events every time they'll fire. This method executes only when there is an exception in the code. This method executes only when there is an exception in this class, in this page. Where anywhere in the page exception comes, control will jump automatically to here. Anywhere you get an exception, control will jump to this particular location now. And here you can write the logic for handling the error for the whole page. How do you write? So when exception comes, control comes to you now. What to do? You see, in a try-catch block, we say catch and catch that exception. We don't require to write try-catches and all. All the logic is already predefined. Under the server, there is a method called get last error. So this get last error method returns you the details of the exception. How do you get there? Catch exception EX and the details will come to EX now. But here we call a method. How to call the method? Get last error. When I call the get last error, the get last error method is going to get the details of the exception and give you. Okay? What next, you know? The next thing you're required to do is clear error. You captured the details now, so you are going to clear the errors in the memory. You will be clearing the errors in the memory. Otherwise, if you don't clear, these errors will be displaying the error message. Next also will be showing you. So without that, we call clear error. When you call clear error, all the errors in the memory will be deleted. I captured it and stored in one variable. I have the details here, so I clear off all the values in the memory. Finally, what you say, no? Response dot redirect. Same only, which match? Dot ASPX. Okay, question mark. Message is equals to EX dot message. We are transporting the data. Put a breakpoint on this line. Put a breakpoint on this line and watch. If you just notice it, you're entering a value 100, you're entering a value 5, no error, everything is fine. Modulus 0. Now I'm entering 0 here. I'm entering 0 or I'm entering Y. That's error or not? So now click on the divide button. When you click on the divide button, yeah, you got an error, and you see all of you, from there control went to which part? page underscore error and executing the logic inside the page underscore error. So wherever you get an error in the page, control will jump there. So you want the output, see? Now not only you click on the modulus method, same story repeats. So one single method is sufficient for the whole page. My page contains lot of event handlers here. Without writing a exception handling code in every event handler, one easiest and simplest way to control all the things by writing page underscore error. So did you understand page level event handling now? Yes or not? Third option is application level event handling. The third option is application level event handling. One day I was explaining about this class. Do you remember global.asx? I already explained about this particular class to you already. What is that? Global.asx file. Under that you'll have a class called global. Inside of it you have a method called application stat. And here I asked you to write the code for unobtrusive validation mode. 3 places you can use unobtrusive validation mode. One is page level. Second, application level. For application level, only 2 options are there. One option, you can write code in global.asx. Second option, you can write code in web.config. We have done in web.config, but you can write here also. So there is a method here also. I said you, what is the method? When will this method execute? I said you, this method executes when the first request comes to the application. How many times this method executes in the life cycle of an application? One only. One time only it will execute. I hosted my application online, guys. Now the first request came to the application. Immediately that method will execute, and that method will not execute again. One time only it executes. Again, if at all it has to execute, what you're required to do, you're required to shut down your application and restart again. You're required to shut down your application and restart again. How can we do? Alright, try this if you want. You can install in IES. You install in IES. You can right click on your site now. In IES, you can right click and say stop. It will stop. That won't run. When you say stop, that is application shut down now. Again, tomorrow you want it, you can right click on it again, say start. It will start for you and application starts again. So, basically life cycle of an application means the moment the application starts to end is called as life cycle. Every day we run this application, it is starting, and I close my browser, it is stopping. But tomorrow in the real time, it won't happen like this here. Application starts only one time only. All clients will be sending the request. Today we are local. What we are using here, development web server. That web server is only to test our pages. But what I explained about IES, guys, if you install an IES now, you don't require to just run from the Visual Studio. You can open the browser and enter the address bar. You will get the page I showed you already. When you try like this, means that application, that means that you're going to start your application only once. And continuously request will come, response will come. So this is a method which executes one and only one time. And in this particular year, we have another method also. We can write, actually, there are different methods here, guys. Another method called application end. You can understand now. Opposite to application start, we have application end. When will it execute? When we shut down the application. When we shut down the application end method will execute. Okay. Same way, we have a method. See, I'm adding it. Application end. Just like our pre-init, init, complete and all, here also we have application start, application end. And one more method is there, guys. Application underscore. What is that? Error. Page underscore error. When will the method execute? When there is an error in the page. Application underscore error. When will the method execute? When there is an error anywhere in the application. The whole application, one single case, you can write the error handling code. That is the application underscore error method. Watch tab, go to page error, go to this page. I'm copying this code, all of you, and I am deleting this. If you delete, what is that? No page level error handling now. Because there is no page level error handling, if you run this now, got it or not? So to control it, now I'm going for application level error handling, and I'm putting this code here. I'm putting this code here. Now run. Hundred, zero. Got it? Any page error occurs, any page. Long back you created a page called calculator.aspx, remember? Calculator.aspx. Yeah, here you can do all operations now. On that day we don't know error handling. We did not do error handling on that day. But today, if you come back and run that application, if any proper improper data comes, error will come now. But now, because I had that particular application level error handling, see what happens? Are you clear? It is anywhere in the application, it is controlled. Anywhere you get the error in the application, it is controlled. But what's the error message? Error message is not showing correctly, see? Array block level error message was shown correctly. Page level error message was shown correctly. Now it is not showing. In block level and page level, what it showed? Input string was not in a correct format. Yes or not? So if at all I'm just giving a value, a bigger value like this, what is the error message we got earlier? Value was either too large or too small for an int 32. But what are we getting now? Same message only is coming every day. What is that? Exception of type? Unhandled exception was thrown. What is this? Actually, what is the problem here is, tell me one thing, where did the original exception occur? In which page? Calculator 1.aspx, or otherwise our current page, what is that? Error handling, exception handling.aspx or calculator.aspx. That is the original error. But there did we handle the error? The original error came on this page here, but did you handle the error here? You did not handle the error now. Because you did not handle the error, originally divide by zero exception came, or formal exception came, or overflow exception came, but that was not handled. Because that was not handled, another exception raised now. What is the new exception? Unhandled exception. Understand the meaning here? Unhandled exception. Are you clear? So by the time it came to global.asx, what is the last error? Format exception or unhandled exception? Array, first format exception occurred. That was not handled. So another exception raised now. What is the new exception? Unhandled. So what is the last error? Format unhandled. Unhandled. What did you say here? Get last error. Get last error is giving the last error only. The last error is unhandled exception. Are you clear? That is the reason why you are getting it like this. In page level error handling and block level, you did not get like that. Why? Error is handled on the same page. Because error is handled on the same page, there is no unhandled exception going to be thrown. But here, we did not handle the error on the same page. We tried to handle error in a separate page. So when error came in this page, immediately another error also occurred. What is the new error? Unhandled exception. Now the get last error is getting the last error. The last error is unhandled exception. So now you'll have a doubt. Sir, can't I see the original exception now? Array, unhandled exception now is not the right thing now. What I should show? Format exception or divide by zero. The original exception I want to see. Can't I see? You can see. How? Look at this, guys. We did not learn this concept in exception handling. Watch. Basically, you are catching exception, EX. What it returns you? The last exception. That is unhandled. But can you tell me why did unhandled exception occur? Why did unhandled exception occur? Because overflow exception was not handled, or because former exception was not handled, or divide by zero exception was not handled. Because of that only, na? Yes or not? But the second exception is a result of first one. Are you clear? And this will provide you the details of both exceptions to you. Both, yes. How to get the old ones? Ex dot. What is that? Inner exception. Inner exception means, what is the inside exception? Tell me that. What is it showing you by default? Outside exception. Outside exception is unhandled. But what is the inner exception? I want to see that. Are you clearer or not? So this will tell you the inner exception. So here, without writing ex dot message, what you write, Are you clear? Ex dot inner exception dot message. That will show you the original things. Watch. Got it? Got your original message? All are showing the original message or not? But one small problem, guys. What is it? Tomorrow, for some reason, exception occurred in global.asx only. For some reason, exception occurred in global.asx only. Handled in global.asx only now. Exception occurred in global.asx, handled in global. Then inner exception won't be there. Are you getting me? So error again. Again it will throw another error. Inner exception is not there now. Okay, now reference can come for you. So to overcome this problem, what you write, this is how you should write the code. If ex dot inner exception is not equal to null, means if that is present, then show me inner exception. Otherwise means inner exception is not there. If inner exception is not there, then show me are you clearer or not? If there is an inner exception, show me inner exception details. If inner exception is not there, show me the outer, the original, the outer exception details. That's how you should put your condition here. Is that clear? So if tomorrow exception occurs in global.asx, then it will show you. If exception occurs in some other page, then it will show you inner exception dot message. Clearer with all the three options now? Block level, page level, application level, error handling. Block level is done by using try catch. Page level is done by using page underscore error method. Application level is done by using application underscore error method. Yes, next class, I'll show you one more interesting thing. What generally, have you noticed it anytime in the real time? Suddenly, if an application closes, Visual Studio column is there. Visual Studio is closing now. Have you noticed it will display a window to you? What is it? Please wait. We are gathering the information and sent to Microsoft. Your error details will be sent to Microsoft now. Why it closed? Why to send to Microsoft? Suddenly, if an application closed, Microsoft has to know now why it got closed. So all the details it will gather now, and it will send a mail now. It will send a mail. So once the mails are received by Microsoft, they will analyze the things and will identify the bugs in the code and fix them. That's why they are #1 companies in the world here. They just not only develop an application, in the future also these problems should not come. So all the major companies will do that. Watch it, if their application suddenly closes, this information will be reported to the company who developed the particular application. Even Zoom also, suddenly if Zoom closes anytime, it will report the information to the actual company. Are you getting me? Okay, and what will happen? It will build a mail and the mail will be sent for you. It will build a mail and mail will be send for you. Okay. So same way, see, these are all small errors here. Who can fix? End user only can fix the error. End user mistakes only. But there will be some critical problems where that is out of the end user control. Server not responding. It is entirely correcting a database here. Database server not responding. Can the end user correct it? That information should be known to support, the customer support. The information should be known to customer support. So for that reason, what you can do, you can build mails and you can send it automatically from your applications. So next class we'll see that particular process. User don't know anything. But application, whenever there is an error, what will happen? The application will build a mail and the application will send off a mail. So we'll see how to send mails from our applications in the next session. Okay, stop here. We'll meet on Monday.